Hello and welcome to another episode of A Backpacker's Guide to Travel. My name's Billy and today I'm joined by Anabel Ganado. Did I get that right?
Yeah,
Yes,
perfect.
got it right. So Anabel, you're actually on. I asked you to come on originally anyway, but alongside that, before we get into how we met and how we know each other and things like that, you are from Madrid, aren't you?
Yes.
And on episode 1, Tom was saying how people from Madrid aren't very welcoming and things like that. So when you said, yes, you could come on, I was like, I know for a fact this is, because I disagreed with Tom. So is there anything you want to say to Tom before we start about how wrong he is or anything like that?
I just want to say that I'll see him outside and we'll sort this out.
We'll
Like,
sort it out, yeah. Because, so we didn't meet in Madrid.
yeah.
We met in Tirana in Albania, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we met there in a hostel there, and then we went from Tirana to Berat, and we spent. I think we only spent like a few days together.
Mm-hmm.
There was me, you, Christina, and Ruben. The four of us all met.
Yeah.
I think we all met in the same. We were all in the same room. I think in Tirana, weren't
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
we? And then we went to Berat together, and then we spent a few days in Berat, and then you went south,
Yes.
didn't you? And then I went north, and then the other guys went their various different ways as well. But then we then met up again in Madrid. But when after Barat, we did like all these hikes and stuff. But you went south, and I remember, were you going to hire a motorbike or something and drive around?
No, that was Christina.
That was Christina.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
remember. I was like,
did.
I remember having these conversations about someone hiring a motorbike, but that was
Yeah,
Christina.
no, I don't trust myself with a motorbike.
No, I was going to say, that's why I was going to ask, because did it pay off or whatever? But that was obviously Christina and stuff. So, but yeah, so did you, with the rest of your trip of the Balkans and stuff, because you were there quite a while, similar to me. I think you were similar, aiming to try and get back for September and stuff. Did you enjoy the Balkans?
Yeah, it was beautiful. I loved it. And like I will highly recommend to go there because first it's very cheap because no one goes there. And it was surprisingly beautiful. Like I remember Albania, I wasn't expected anything from it, and it was it's the country I loved most.
Yeah. And it was like, okay, because I think we probably did a similar route and things.
Yeah.
And it's really, like you say, it's really cheap and not very well trodden path. Like I think a lot of people go to Croatia and things like that and have like a holiday in Croatia or things, but especially like Macedonia, Montenegro, and places like that. I really enjoyed my time there. It was amazing. But obviously then when I came over to Madrid with Tom back in February this year.
Yeah, but I didn't meet
You
Tom.
didn't meet Tom. You didn't meet Tom. So,
he wouldn't think that if he met me.
That's what I said, because so when I came over, it was before all of everything that was going on in the world and things like that. So Tom would come out, as we spoke about on our the episode at the start of the series. He came out on the weekend, so I think he was out 2 days before me, and then I came out on the Monday, and I flew back on the Friday, but he flew back I think on the Wednesday, and we met up on that Wednesday. But so he obviously missed the opportunity to be shown, as I was like, you were a great host and showed me around all these different places. We were going from bar to bar and we were having loads of tapas and it was great. And then I know he found it difficult at the start, being in a country, because he couldn't speak Spanish, and I can speak Spanish okay. But obviously when I arrived, I was like the best thing ever for him, because I could turn around and be like, right, we want this and this and this. And he was living off McDonald's and things like that before I got there.
But I mean, a lot of people speak English here.
And that was what it is.
Be a problem.
It shouldn't. But I think with Tom as well, was very reluctant, because I said they can speak English and stuff. But I know at the time as well, when we came, a lot of English people came over. So not that.
Yeah, it was something of a game, right?
Yeah, like, so Liverpool were playing football. So I think as well, I know when a lot of tourists come over and things like that, it's definitely, we're not the best of the British at being tourists. We're very when there's a massive group of us, we do have a bad reputation. Not that me and Tom were anything like that, but I think Tom in particular probably is, because he is a football fan, probably was going in and being like, can I have this? Can I have that? Can I have this? And not trying to speak Spanish as best as he could. Whereas I could go in and be like, right, can we have this, 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 and this? And that obviously then helps the people from Madrid. But I think Yeah, I think Tom just had a bad experience, and I think he enjoyed it and loved Madrid, and I think he said he'd love to go back to Spain and things like that. But it was just a case of, I think he just had a bad few experiences,
Yeah, I'm so sorry
which is
about, like, because I feel like if you put on a bit of effort, nobody's gonna reject you.
yeah.
Like, you
It's
can
the
meet a
same.
lot of people.
It was the same when we were in the Balkans and stuff, because I think neither of us can speak the local languages that were in those countries, and
Not a word.
as long as you try and be, and understand, I think it is a good thing. But other than
Yeah.
obviously the countries that we've obviously spoken about, the Balkans, where else have you been in the world? Is there anywhere you'd like to recommend?
So I started traveling on my own. I think I was 20,
Yeah,
something like that. I went to Malaysia because I got an internship there. So I went to live 3 months in Kuala Lumpur, and
yeah,
I loved it. I
yeah,
mean, the Asia, it's such a different culture, and well, on the first day it was a completely shock. I was very scared.
yeah,
But it's beautiful,
yeah,
and people there are also very different from us because they share another values and another type of living. And I will really recommend them to go there to
yeah.
Asia.
I've never been. I've never been to
Southeast
Asia.
Asia is beautiful.
It's
I went
on
to
my hit list. It's on my hit list because I've never been. And
you
stuff.
should. I
Yeah.
mean, not now. Maybe it's not the
But yeah,
best time.
well, not now. Maybe in give it time and things like that. But
Yes, yes.
yeah, because we should probably mention, because you're training to be a lawyer and have
Mm-hmm.
been for quite a while, quite a long time now, and you're in your final internship and things like that. So you obviously were able to go over and stuff and use and do that. Have an internship over there. How was that? How was working? Going over there and doing an internship over there. Was it?
Well, it's a bit chaotic there, like.
Yeah, yeah,
But I mean, that was not my favorite part working there
yeah,
because, well, things. But living there, it was interesting. At least
yeah,
I remember that from the place I was living to take the metro, I had to walk, I don't know, like 10-15 minutes, and it was like really warm. Like,
yeah,
but like, and then I had to take a jacket with me every day because once you got into the train,
yeah.
it was freezing
Freezing cold.
like crazy.
I suppose but going from really, you probably want it cold rather than really hot on a
Yeah,
train.
yeah, but still, like, it was like, I don't know how many degrees, but really cold.
really cold. Yeah. So that's why I was asking, because not many people have the opportunity to work. So I'm in a similar position, being a teacher, that we can go to a different country and have the opportunity to work. And I know other people who are going to come onto the podcast, they are in the similar things, but quite a few people go traveling and then don't do any work at all. But do you think it's a benefit of you being able to, like, obviously you get to see the country and you have a base almost, and then go off and travel various things? Or do you prefer going, right, I'm not doing any work whatsoever, and I'm going to have 6 weeks or however long it is, going, right, I'm going from here to here to here to here to here, and I don't have to
Yeah,
worry
I
about work?
think I will prefer I prefer the second option
Yeah,
because, well, when you're working first, you have less time. Of course, you can only travel during the weekends, or if you get a long weekend, like for 4 or 5 days, whatever.
mm-hmm.
But traveling, only traveling,
Yeah,
I think it's really cool. You get to live a lot of adventures, and
yeah,
it's very intense. Like,
yeah.
you do a lot of things every day, and you meet new people every day. So it's a very intense experience, and I think it helps you to get to know yourself better. And yeah, second
Yeah.
option by
You
far.
you learn, because obviously you're on your. So I was talking to some of my pupils yesterday actually about. I said, oh, because they were on about, we can't go out on our own. They were on somehow the topic of the conversation changed to going out for food and eating alone, or going to the cinema or something like that. They were on about going like that alone, because now with everything at the minute, you're not able to, like, meet up in big groups and things like that. And I said, have any of you ever been for a coffee or anything like that on your own? They're like, no, can't do that. It's not allowed. It's socially awkward.
Yeah,
People
that's
are looking
true.
at stuff. Whereas when you go traveling, especially, it's an option. you know, if you at the first few nights, if you don't meet anyone or things like that, or especially in the current climate, you might not be able to. But I think you have to become comfortable with yourself a lot quicker, and like you say, you learn a lot about yourself, and you're like, right, this is
That's
about
true.
me and stuff like that.
But I feel like that changes when you're not traveling. Like right now, I don't know if I will go for a dinner on my own.
No,
I
yeah,
don't know. That's something to think about,
yeah.
actually.
But that's what I'm saying. It's an option when you're traveling
Yeah.
alone and stuff. Whereas when say for example, you just like in Barat, you wanted to go one direction, and all the rest of the group wanted to go a different direction. You can pick to go right. I'm doing
That's
my
true.
own thing. Whereas when you travel in a group, you have to be as like so. If you went with a group of friends, you've got to accommodate. Oh, we want to do this. We want to, and you might not want to do it. It's that sort of thing that I mean as well. Not just eating alone, but you can do your
Yeah,
own
yeah.
thing, and you don't have to worry about anyone else.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So where other than Malaysia, where anywhere else that
Yeah,
you'd been?
I went the summer before meeting you. I went to I started in Germany, and then I went down to Czech Republic, Austria, and Hungary.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I actually really like it too. I think I like the Balkans more.
Balkans more,
Yeah, I
because I
don't know.
suppose not that it being cheap is the deciding factor. But I know, you know, Germany can be obviously quite expensive because
Yeah.
it's obviously going to be similar to Spain and Madrid and things like that. Hungary, I looked at Hungary. I was going to be really optimistic and go all the way through Croatia and up and try and get up that far, but I'm glad I didn't, because I think I'd have ended up getting
Yeah.
really stressed out and stuff. But so have you done with the majority? Is it majority of your traveling now at the minute is in Europe because of work, or because obviously you're trying to get all your internships and
Well,
done?
because I wasn't working until this month, and I didn't have enough money to to pay a ticket to go to.
To anywhere else. So yeah. Have you ever thought of going to South America? Because obviously
I will love it. I will love it.
because
But
that's where I went, and obviously speaking Spanish, and I learned Spanish out there. It was a massive benefit, and obviously, surprisingly, Spanish you can speak Spanish quite well, being from Madrid. So obviously, I think it would, you know, like it'd be so easy for you and stuff. But go on,
yeah,
you were gonna say something.
yeah. I mean, I will really love to go to South America, but I mean, I don't know if it's prejudice or is it real, but I will not do it on my own. Like, it doesn't
Yeah,
have the fame to be the safest country for a woman on her own,
yeah.
actually, like the safest area.
Because that's good, because I was actually going to get onto that, but because just before we move on to traveling on your own as a woman and things like that, when I went, I was quite fortunate because touch wood, nothing happened. I had no passports or anything like that stolen. Whereas other friends I've met who were traveling, whether male or female, they got robbed 3 or 4 times. So I think it is, you are lucky and hits or miss. I
Yeah.
think one of my friends had to chase someone down because on one of the buses they'd taken the wrong bag. So I think it was an accident. They must have had similar bags, and they picked up their bag and they ran after them because they'd taken the wrong bag. So things like that can happen because it is just a case of, right, probably similar in Malaysia, in Asia as well, where it's just a case of, right, everyone get all your stuff on, get on the bus and things like
Yeah.
that. So things like that can happen. But going on to being a solo female traveler, we had Anna, one of my other friends. She's a female solo traveler, and she was saying, yeah, it can be scary and things like that, and obviously you've got to be careful of where you go and things like that. But she was saying, try not to, her advice was not to let it scare you and put you
Yeah.
off traveling and things like that. So obviously you were 20 at the time when you first went traveling on your own. How did it lead up to that? What happened? What were the events that caused you to decide, right, I'm going to go off on my own? Was it a case of you were going to plan to go with friends and they decided, now we're not going to go? Or is it just a case of you were like, I don't want to do this on my own or something like that? What do you
I
remember?
was actually living in the States at the moment, and I didn't wanted to go back home.
Okay.
So I looked for options,
Yeah.
and this internship seemed like the perfect excuse to go.
Yeah. No, yeah. So when you were in the States, did you move to the States with friends, or did you do that on your own?
on my own too, but like with the university, like
Oh, through you. So right, so, okay. So through university, so you knew like you were going to have some sort of like support unit. Whereas
yes,
when you went even though you were going to Malaysia and yeah, you were going to have this internship and you'll have a support unit there. That was more on your own, if that makes sense.
yeah, I had to look for my yeah,
Oh
for an
no,
appointment.
yeah,
I moved in with people I didn't know.
mhm,
Yeah, I had to work things on my own
yeah,
there in Malaysia. But yeah, at the beginning it was scary, and but I was really excited to be doing that for the first time and really experiencing what
yeah,
like
yeah,
life can be, you know. I
yeah.
don't know,
But
because it was
go on.
that was not traveling. I was based there in Kuala Lumpur, and then yeah, I got to get away on the weekends, and I had some friends visiting and my family, so it was not like I will like, yeah, I did some short travels on my own, but like
Mhm.
for weekends or something like that. But
Yeah. So would you? So obviously, there might be some people now, especially females who are thinking, right, I want to go traveling, but I'm afraid to go on my own. Do you think, obviously, now you've just said like with South America, you're a bit worried, obviously, about the dangers and things like that. But would you say start somewhere like even in Europe, right? Try going to like Madrid, and they can come meet you or whatever, or
yeah,
in Spain or
sure.
something like that, or something like start small and go somewhere like right. I'm just going to go around, have like a city break sort of thing on my own, and then they can get used to
Yeah,
it.
I think that
Um,
that's something that's a good start. But I will also like, you will never feel you're ready to do it
yeah,
because it is a big step. So you just
yeah,
have to jump
yeah,
and hope for the best. And I remember when I went to Germany, that's what I consider my first like a long trip, long
yeah,
one. And I remember I was really, really scared on the flight there
yeah,
because, well, it was something really, really new for me. But once you do it,
yeah.
it's,
You're going to do it again.
yes.
Yes, because that was because so I've probably said it before on the podcast as well, and I will keep saying it as well. So my first solo trip, I went to South America on my own. I never done anything like that before. So I always say to people who are thinking of like going traveling on their own and stuff like, you don't need to go like I did to the other side of the world and be like start there. You can go somewhere small. I just was like,
Yeah,
right, I'm going. I probably did the uncommon thing of being like, right, I'm going traveling for a year or whatever, 9 months. Then I'll come back and I'll be. It was scary as well. So I remember flying. So I had to fly to Orlando, which was in the summer holiday. So it was full of kids all the way flying to Orlando to go to Disney World or Disneyland. And then I had to catch a plane down from Orlando down to Colombia. So it was scary, and I was sat on the plane going, "Why am I doing this? Why?" And
yeah,
then the first few nights you're going like, "What? I don't know anyone. I'm gonna get lost. It's gonna be so scary and things like that." But then you quickly, especially in hostels, if you go, I
yeah,
think if you go somewhere. So for example, I don't know what you did in Germany, but if you flew somewhere and then stayed in a luxury hotel, you're not going to meet people. But you've got to be, if you go to a hostel and you don't have to stay in the 20-bed dorm the first night, you can stay in a 4-bed dorm, just to ease yourself into it. But I think hostels are definitely one of the things that people should
yeah,
look at and not be afraid, because I think a lot of people are afraid of staying in hostels as well. Um,
yeah. But the thing is that almost everyone that is in a hostel is traveling solo. So you're gonna meet people for sure. And I've never had a bad experience there.
no, no, it was the same. So when we met in Tirana, you had started out traveling alone, but you'd met Christina by that point.
Mhm.
And then I can't remember exactly how we met Ruben, but it was a case of we all ended up on this bus together going to Barat, and then we all were in the same hostel in Barat then, and we spent a few days together and things like that, and it was great, and and we went for food and went for walks and things like that. But people don't be put off, even though they might seem like they're in this massive group. It's just a case of they are probably the majority of them are going to be individual travelers, and they've just
Yeah.
like met each other and stuff. But moving on, so if there's one country, you're only allowed one, which country would you recommend people visit? Not including Spain. You've got to forget Spain and move to a different. And so, which one
That's
country have
really
you
tough.
visited that you would recommend for
One
two other people?
country.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll let
at the
you.
moment,
If you're struggling, you can have two, but I'd like you to try and pick one.
yeah, in the moment it will be Albania.
Yeah,
It's somewhere nobody goes there. it has everything. It has nature. It has nice towns. The food
Food.
is great.
Yeah, food.
Yeah.
Food was very good. So yeah,
So
no,
I
it's
will,
go on.
yeah, I will really recommend to go there before it gets touristy.
Hmm.
Actually, because it's not that much, and well, I remember the north of Albania. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you get to do the Balbon to Turth hiking?
No, I didn't manage to do it. But it's one of those things now where, so with my trip in the Balkans, I was literally doing like a whistle stop. So I was literally like a couple of days, and then I was like, right, I'll come back. And if I find so, and Albania was definitely one of those countries where I was like, there's a lot to do, and I'd love to go back there. So yeah, but cool, that's good. So we're gonna move on
Okay.
to the. I know. So before we were talking, before we were started recording, you told me that you're gonna try and do this with a little preparation. But it's going to be the desert island questions, as I've been calling it. It's where I ask you, you're going to go traveling for the first time. So you're going to go back to that first solo trip that you had, and you're going to pack, what are the first three things that you would pack? So if you were going to go back and say to 20-year-old Anabel, right, you're going traveling for the first time, what three things are you going to pack?
Um. Okay, this is not actually a thing, but I will. First thing, I will download an app on my phone that allows me to have maps online offline.
Yeah, yeah, that's one. I think Tom said the same thing. That was so he had Google Maps, um,
Okay.
and I said Maps Me
Yeah,
was the one
Maps
that
me. That's the one I
Maps
use.
Maps Me. I think the more we'll say the more experienced travelers use Maps Me as opposed to Google Maps. Dan had said when he was on about it was one for specifically for, well, it wasn't a map, it was a ranking, was one for New Zealand, so there might be one specific for each for countries as
Okay.
well. His was more to do with camping and things, but yeah, Maps Me, I think it's one of the better ones to use because you can, it's really like offline and things like that, you can
Mhm.
like find your way around, especially if you don't have Wi-Fi. In Europe it's not too much of a problem at the minute, especially,
Yeah,
well,
but
it's especially if you go to like Malaysia and things like that. But
it's
go on.
very useful. Yeah, and you can pin places and you can save them there. It's really useful.
Yeah, and obviously it can, just like Google Maps, you can like tell me where, you literally can follow it and things like that. I try not to use that bit because I try to like wander around and get lost because I'm quite good at doing that. And then
I'm
trying to
not.
find,
I have a
and yeah,
really bad orientation.
yeah,
Like,
and then try and find my way back. I think I remember. So when we were in Barat, I can't remember whether I was like, right, we're gonna walk here and then here and here and here, and then we'll be back there. And they'd be like, no, you're not. You're wrong, Billy. And yeah, I was just follow
yeah,
my feet and stuff. But yeah, so that's item one.
that's one.
What's number two?
I will also carry a small first aid kit, like
Yeah.
pills for headaches, or well, for girls, like when you're on
Or
your period, it also like for cramps and
yeah.
everything. Because yeah, if you go to Germany, it will be easier to get those things, but maybe not that easy in,
And
yeah, in other
in
places.
Asia and or even South America, even though there was like pharmacists, but it's in other countries. I don't know how it is in Madrid, but most places there's like not a pharmacist. A pharmacist is separate to like the
Mhm.
supermarkets, whereas in Britain especially, there's a lot of supermarkets with the pharmacist in them. Is it like that
Yeah,
in
and Spain
Spain?
separated too. So
Yeah. So you're used to, oh well, I need to find a pharmacist. Whereas I remember when I started traveling in South America, and I was like, right, I need more. I'd used up my like pain medication or whatever, and I was like, right, I need to get more. And you were like, by that point, I'd clicked. But I can imagine some people who forget and then go for it for the first time. Even things like sun cream, they're in the pharmacist, not in this not commonly in a supermarket. Obviously, I definitely need like lots and lots of sun cream. So like things like that, obviously you need to know. So I think knowing where pharmacists are is probably another good tip. But yeah, so first aid kit, even if it's just a small one with like
yes,
plaster, especially if you're
and
going for
blasters.
hiking,
Yeah,
and stuff, which I
yeah,
do a lot of. I think you do quite a bit as well. Obviously, getting blisters is a nightmare. But yeah,
yeah.
anything else you want to add on first aid kit,
Um,
or do you want to go to number three?
well, for women,
Yeah,
this
all
may not. Yeah,
all
I mean,
those toiletries, all those like essential toiletries for women and stuff.
because there are some things that are not easy to get in some countries.
Yeah. I
That's for
obviously
sure.
have no experience in that, so I'll take your word for it. But I can imagine, I've just mentioned sun cream and how difficult it was for me to get sun cream, and that's quite a common thing to get. And I
Well,
can
that is
imagine,
also common, but it's harder to find. I don't know why.
yeah. But it's one of those things that you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
But Number
I
three?
think that will be my first a kid, and maybe maybe something if you get I don't know, like DC on boats or
Oh
in
yeah,
buses or
like see, like motion
yeah,
sickness
yeah,
tablets. That's what it is in English. I don't know what it is
yeah.
in Spanish. But yeah, so cool. So are those your three things, or have you got a third thing?
No, I got a third thing.
What's your
Flip
third thing?
flops.
Flip flops or
Yeah.
sandals?
No, no,
Yeah.
but I mean flip flops for taking a shower in the hostel and just being there because I mean it's really cool to be in hostels, but the bathrooms are small. A lot
Yeah.
of people go in there, so I will take a shower with flip flops.
Your flip flops, yeah, definitely take a shower with your flip flops on, and most flip flops are waterproof, like plastic. You're on about plastic flip flops rather
Yeah, I
than
mean
like
the ones
fabric ones.
the ones you take in
I've
the
got
pool and yeah.
I've got the I think the traditional. I'm wearing them now.
Yeah, those.
Havianas, Havianas, I think are one of the most common ones to use. I think especially in South America, everyone was wearing them because obviously they're from Brazil. So yeah, flip flops, and they're easy to pack as well
Yeah.
because they don't take so much space and stuff, and you can wear them wet, especially if you're going somewhere hot. Maybe if you're going somewhere cold, you'd only probably use them in the shower if you were going,
Yeah,
on a ski. But you'll still need them, like you say, if you were going for the shower, and even so, then you can walk around in the hostel wearing them rather than wearing your
mhm.
trainers. Um,
And they're a lifesaver because if you after a day of hiking like you don't want to wear anything else than flip-flops.
yeah, definitely. It's, even like even that's what I mean. So even if you're going on a skiing holiday where you've
Yeah.
got to wear the big boots and things like that, the last thing you're going to want to wear when you get back is trainers and stuff. Not that some people might want to walk around, barefoot and on the floor and things like that, but no, flip flops are you're going to need. I think be a bit more hygienic and wear your flip
Yes.
flops and stuff. I think one of my friends I think he had multiple pairs. He didn't take just one pair. He had like at least two.
Really?
Yeah, well, that's all he wore. All he wore was flip flops.
Okay.
He wore he had like a pair of hiking boots and flip flops. That was it. He didn't have like hiking boots, trainers, and flip flops. It was either flip flops or hiking boots. They were his two options. So in that scenario, yeah, you can understand.
Yeah, that's true.
But so moving on. Have you got any? We've obviously talked about a couple of things in terms of what you were going to pack. But have you got any like a top tip that you'd want to give someone who is thinking of traveling for the first time? So someone who's never traveled before. I know we've spoken about staying a bit local, well not local, but picking somewhere closer to home rather than going to the other side of the world. Have you got anything else you can think of?
Yeah, I will say like don't be afraid to go and talk to people.
Yeah.
And especially when you're in the lobby of the hostel or in the living room, whatever, they're all gonna be travelers that are in the same position as you and the same situation. So they're all gonna be friendly. And
Mm-hmm.
if you bump into someone that is not, there are a million other people there who want to interact with you and you'll make great friends. So
Yeah.
yeah, just go and talk to people.
Well, maybe not talk to as many people as you can, but you definitely talk to as many people as you want. Obviously you don't have a group of 20 people then
Yeah.
traveling around together, but once you can get like a small group of friends and stuff, you'll feel a
Mm-hmm.
lot and you'll feel a lot more at home and stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. So the last question, as quickly as this has gone, is where obviously, if we take away all the things that are happening in the world, like you might have two destinations. You might have one that you're thinking of going in the current climate, but where would you like to go next? Obviously, I know you're currently studying for. Well, you're not studying. You're doing your. Well, you are studying for your bar. Do you call it studying for your bar?
I mean, I'm just working, but
Working.
I should be studying
Yeah,
maybe.
you still. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I know you've got to sit an exam now.
I don't know.
At some point next year. And obviously, I think that's going to take up a lot of your time. Especially like you've got your internship now. But where would you like to go next when you're able to travel next?
Okay, I mean, if I could like take, it will be a short trip. It will be like
Yeah,
2-3 week stop, and I will go to Greenland.
Greenland.
Yeah,
Okay, that's good.
because
Go on.
there are a lot of I mean it's not the usual trip like visiting cities. It's all
Mm.
like you go on a kayak and you hike and
Yeah,
that's all you do like yeah,
it's
mountain
similar.
sports there. But I think it'll be really cool like to be on the ice, and that's completely different from what we have.
What
Well,
you've done so far. What have you done so
yeah,
far? Yeah, no, exactly. So it's sort of similar because they do get obviously not confused for each other because Greenland's obviously covered in ice and I well, not ice but snow, whereas Iceland is the one is on my list, which is obviously a lot more greener. But it's a similar sort of thing. That I think that's top of my list when we're able to go, and it'll be similar to a 2-3 week holiday there. But it again, same sort of thing, hiking and obviously the Northern
yeah.
Lights and things like that. But it's I think a lot more people, especially I think Iceland's is now a lot more popular, whereas I don't think Greenland. I've not heard many other people say
No, it's
Greenland
not.
and stuff, which I think, judging by where you've said so far, other than Asia, obviously Asia is a massive tourist trap, but you seem to be ahead of the curve, Anabel, of where people are going. So wherever you go, people are then following soon after.
So follow me then.
Yeah, they're following you around. So yeah,
But
but go on.
I mean, the bad thing about going to Greenland is that you have to go through an organized trip because I mean, you need a guide
Yeah,
to take you over there. It's not as easy as going to Hungary or
yeah,
Germany. You
great.
need somebody that tells you where to go. But that's also cool, I think, because you go with a group that you don't know who's going,
Yeah,
but you form a group, so it's basically
it's
like
already going
going
to
to
be.
hostels. But yeah,
Yeah, so it's almost as though you're going to get there, and there's going to be a group of people who are already doing the same thing as you, and
yeah,
that's a good thing then at least and stuff. But anywhere else other than that, any more?
more approachable.
Yeah,
um, where I want to go to Romania. I don't know the name in English.
Romania,
Yeah, Romania.
Romania.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's yeah, Romania in Spanish.
Yeah. See, yeah. Look, my Spanish there. I was obviously, if I didn't know Spanish, then I wouldn't have been able to translate it. It was obviously so different. But no, yeah, Romania again, not another country which probably a lot of people don't visit.
But I've heard it's also like it's really affordable. It's
Mm-hmm.
cheap, and it has beautiful landscapes and a lot of history that we don't know. So
Yeah.
I think that will be a good trip.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. As I just said, you're going to places where other people don't seem to go, and I think a lot of people try to do that in particular. That not that they're looking at right where are the least traveled countries, and you're not doing that, but trying to avoid the tourist like traps, especially. I don't know how it is. Obviously you're going to be limited, especially once you start work, when you can take your holidays and things like that. Because
Yeah,
obviously
that's
it's
for sure.
especially for me when I go. I'm stuck limited to going in the school holidays because being a teacher, I have to go have the holidays, which obviously a lot of people are going at the same time as me. So trying to find these countries or these places
Yeah,
where not a lot of people are typically going to go definitely helps. So that it's another tip in itself is don't be put off going to these countries where not that you can't find a lot of information about them, but other people might not have been to before just because there's a lot of things stuff there that have just been
yeah. I
untouched,
mean,
not untouched, but you unseen
there's a lot
probably.
of. I feel like there's wherever you go, you're gonna enjoy it. I don't think you'll go to a whole country, and you'll say
No.
I don't like this place because I'm sure everywhere has a lot of to offer, and I wouldn't say like quit going to a place where there that are more touristy because
Oh no.
obviously people go where things are beautiful, and if you go to Italy, you're gonna find a lot of
Oh.
people, but it's a beautiful country.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't say skip those, but I
Is
mean
that go on?
I was just saying like places I haven't been to because I've been to Italy and
Yeah.
I've been to Germany and I've been to UK. So
You've
I don't know.
ticked a lot off already. It's a case of you're just trying now. You're going right. Where haven't I been and going to these different
Yeah,
places? But no, yeah, it's just one. It's each person's different, and they want to do. Obviously, once you've been to certain countries, you not that you don't want to go back to them again, but you always want to try something new and somewhere different,
hmm
and things like that. But that's pretty much it. That's everything. We've got covered everything. We've flown through it. We were talking off air as well, similar to Dan. I think so. You'll probably be the episode after Dan. So I'm going to say last week's episode. Dan doesn't have many social media things that he wants to share. You're the same as me.
yeah,
Don't have an Instagram and things like that. I have an Instagram, but I don't have the app. And you're the same. Deleted the app and things like that. We're too cool for social media. But is there anything else you want to, share or say? Obviously, I did say, if you get stuck in Madrid, you can now look up Anabel, because she'll be by the time. If you need any problems sorting out, she can fix you up. Maybe not if you've done something really bad, but she'll try and help you out as best she can. But,
yeah, and if you need places to go here or any tips, of course, I'm here to help.
You were a very good host. But other than that, share the podcast. It's on YouTube as well. If you've got this far and you want to, see us, we haven't done much show and tell aspects on this episodes. But yeah, just share, subscribe, and we'll see you all next time. Thanks, Anabel. Bye.
Bye.